Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So today we are going to see 12th chapter, the last chapter in our module 2. So what's the name of the chapter and what's the number?
Devotional service.
Chapter 12.
Right. So before we start with that and see and explore what it is, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimurandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vishamanusute Devi Pranamani Hariye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patithana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vatsati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you join. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
So this is the Panchatattva mantra, and today being Chaitanya's month, special month, I will explain about each and every character of Panchatattva at the end. So let's pay our obeisances. And why are we chanting? Does anyone know why do we chant the Panchatattva mantra before our Ma mantra?
It's the Kshama mantra.
Okay. Yeah, that is also there. But what does it serve?
To get the mercy of Chaitanya and all these Mahaprabhus.
Perfect. So why do we need the mercy?
To go means deeper in our bhakti, to do the Shuddha Bhakti.
Yes, but one more closer reason, perfect Prabhu, but little more closer is when we are chanting Ma mantra, we will be at different stages. One is, like to get the Suddha Nam stage, which is pure, undivided attention, right? That we don't get because Prabhupada also, it took him 3 years to reach that state. So our level is currently, either Nam Apatar, right? Which means that you tend to make mistakes in your name. So in the name of chanting, or, you get distracted, you get diverted, you're not giving that undevoted attention. So it's like, as she said, forgiveness, 2, to get devotional service. And mostly this is like Kavasha, right? So it is not just that Karna has the Kavasa, we also have the Kavasa, right? And they will act as your Kavasa. And if there is any obstruction to devotional service, they will stand and they will protect. And this genuinely, it's like many times if you are little low in chanting, or you're tired, or you're sick, or you have that little influence of Maya trying to hijack you, you'll always notice Panchatattva is pulling you back. It's like your bubble, right? In vacuum, food doesn't get spoiled. Like that, they will put you inside that bubble to make sure that the external bubbles don't disturb you. And there are some devotees, in fact, if they are very disturbed, they will go on chanting Panchatattva also sometimes. They will go on like Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. They will go on for a few times before they start so that, they can get the mood, going. And this is a speciality. And why Chaitanya is considered, see, Krishna is very merciful. But why is Chaitanya considered very, very merciful? What is special? Why do they feel that Chaitanya is very merciful?
Descended down to share the mellow of devotional service to the devotees.
Haribol, very true, because he descended to share the mellow of a devotional service as a devotee. So very clearly devotees are very, are more merciful than the God himself, right? So we've seen most cases where even the God is not willing to forgive, the devotees will forgive. Like if you see, one classic example all of you know is Amrish Maharaj. Amrish Maharaj, Sudarshan Chakra, right, is none other than Krishna's servant, right? And Krishna himself is so angry, and when Durvasa Muni insulted him. But what happened to Amrish Maharaj? He was so merciful, and he was telling that if at all I had done any service, and if the credits can go to him, please give the credits to him, but please liberate, don't punish him. Same way, Janaka Maharaj, when he went to Yamaraja, he saw so many souls. He saw so many souls who are in the Yamaloka. He went means he visited, okay? It's not like punishment posting. So he just went there and he felt very uncomfortable. So he tells Yamaraja, all my punyas, whatever I've done, please take it, all of them, and I'll become zero. It's okay for me. But please liberate them, send them. I can't see them suffer. So devotees are so, soft-hearted. So we all know Krishna is very merciful, and Chaitanya in the devotee form is even more merciful. So this is about Chaitanya. And everybody, we will tell, the first Acharya is Advaita Acharya, second is Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is Balram, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna. And we have Gadadhara Pandit, who is actually Radharani, and we have Narada as Srivatsa, right? So these are the names we chant. Before we start, let's pay our obeisances to Shishi Radha Govinda. So what is the 12th chapter and why is it come? So 11th chapter, what did we see? 10th chapter, we saw the opulences. Now type in chat, is there I don't remember showing you all a video about opulences of Krishna. If I've already showed, say yes. If I've not, tell no, so that we'll play it at the end. That is the theory class. And chapter 11 talks about Vishwarupa, which is the actual practical class, right? That is demo. We saw a movie and we all thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Yes or no? I always say 11th chapter is my favorite. 11th chapter is a very close to heart favorite chapter, and 14th chapter is a very practical chapter for me. So 11th chapter is more like, like my dream. It's like a dream, right? We like dream, that one. And 14th chapter is like reality. So when we come to 14th chapter, you'll understand what it is. So now that we finished our dream and we are continuing the dream, we need to know, we have to come back to see what is the dream about, which we know. But what is the purpose of the dream, right? So that links us to the 12th chapter. So Lord Krishna shows this universal form, and Arjuna is attached to the personal two-handed form. We saw that, and that's why he prays in the 11th, in the 10th chapter also, Para Brahma Parandama, Pavitram Paramambhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adidevam Ajambivum. And 11th chapter has dash verses. How many verses 11th chapter has? It has 55 verses, and the 55th verse, anyone knows? So it says, Mat Gata Mat Kritya Mat Gata Mat Krit Panam Bodhayante Panashvartam Kadayanti Chamam Nityam Tushtantita Ramanticha. So basically, we will how do we achieve Krishna? So that is what it says in one line, right? So it's like, you Kada Anticha means always I think of Krishna. Ramanticha means enjoy, relish, right? And enjoy. So these are the words which you're telling, right? So mat karma krit in mind, and mat gata pranam, right? Whatever you're doing, gata, end, destination, life, it's like life. So it's like fish out of water. Why do you say? For the fish, if you pull it out of water, it can't breathe. Like that for a devotee, when you pull out of devotion, you just can't breathe at all, right? So this is the level of devotion. So you all tell me about opulence, and did I tell you about Hanuman? No, I don't think I would have told you. He was deprived of service. Like I was talking about the fish out of water, right? So like that, all the devotees decided, oh my God, Hanuman, we should not give Hanuman any devotion. Let's see, we will take everything. So Hanuman as usual comes, and he's saying no service is left for him in Ayodhya. Everybody is taking care, flowers are there, floor is swept, everybody is doing devotion, right? He can't go and snatch somebody's devotion. He wants something. He doesn't know what to do, and he sees Rama. And Rama is able to feel, oh my God, my devotee is struggling. Okay, and immediately Rama is yawning. And he's yawning, and he's running, he's so excited, Hanuman, and he does this. That little thing which he does. It's a very small thing, and all devotees are stunned. Oh my God. Even in the thing which somebody can't decide what to do, Hanuman can find. That is the speciality of a devotee. A devotee constantly finds, the way how he can serve the God, because that gives him more happiness. And that is where, his prana is linked. Right? Krishna. Slide gets blood. Hare Krishna, so sorry. So Arjuna is attached to the two-handed form, and after hearing and seeing the Lord's inestimable, right? I mean, this somebody who cannot estimate this impersonal opulences, right? Because we saw the opulence. Yesterday when I was teaching advanced class, they asked a question. Anyway, we saw, that was the 16th chapter, but still I'm just bringing it up here. We saw so many opulences already in the 10th chapter. Then why are chapters coming up? Why is Krishna again bringing it? Because the opulence, right, is impersonal. We saw Vishwarupam, right? So Vishwarupam is close to which form of Krishna? Is it the Brahman feature, Paramatma feature, or the Bhagavan feature? Which is close?
Bhagavan.
Bhagavan feature.
Okay, that is what we feel, because we see Rupa and we relate to Bhagavan. And I had requested each one of you last week to give me a detail of how much of garland is required, how much of material is required, but nobody gave me. Why nobody gave me the measurement? Why no one gave me the measurement of how much is required for Vishwarupa?
It is infinite.
Unlimited. Yeah.
Exactly.
We can't measure.
If something is infinite, how can we call it personal? Why we call it personal is because we feel if there's a face to it, we call it personal, and we see so many faces. But personal means 5 rasas, right? You should have rasas. You should serve him. You should cook for him, right? So what do you do for a child? Does the child, anytime did you wait for the child to become 1 year and the child tells, Mama, lift me? Or did you lift when the child was first day, when the child didn't ask you anything? Why did you lift the child and feed the child? Did the child ask you? Did any child ask, or you all did automatically?
We
We did automatically.
Yes, so that is seva. And how do you do? Because a child is formed in the hand, right? Also goes and buys everything, right? So there is a form which is finite, so you will be able to handle, right? If it is not finite, you won't be able to handle it. So Vishwarupa is actually not the personal feature of God. It is the material. It's a transcendental form, but it is a material form. Why is it material form? This Rupa is not there in Vaikuntha. Because Vaikuntha is a relationship. Some relationship to be there. Even with the Narayana form, people worship, right? Even in Ayodhya, they need a servitor relationship. And for us in Goloka, we have so many relationships. We can be friend, we can be, see Krishna as a father, we see Krishna as a parent and take Krishna as a child. So we have multiple relationships. So this is a Brahma Jyoti, Brahma form, which is why Brahma Jyoti means not Brahma, the Brahma Jyoti form. It's close to the Brahman realization because it's only available here. And therefore, Krishna wanted to show the two-handed form because Arjuna didn't want the form, because he's an exalted devotee, he's a pure devotee. But we already saw the reasons why he wanted to see the Krishna in the first place in the multiple form, because we saw various reasons, right? For personal interest, largely for others, to show tomorrow if there is anyone, we will question, all these reasons. So we are therefore very clear that people want to see the form so that we can do. Therefore, who works for Krishna and against Jnani, they are very clear to see the personal form, which is not the universal form, because it's superior. The personal form, two-handed form, is superior than a universal form of Krishna. So that is what it is, and that is why we started going Mat Karmakit, Mat Paramo. So we started praying. So let's have a quick view of the 12th chapter. So it has 20 verses, and we will do the first 2 mostly. First 1 to 7 talks about Bhakti over Impersonalism. Now we've been seeing, now all of us are now so confused, right? Because we know very clearly we've crossed the line of, okay, we are not into demigod worship. Where are we? Right? We are not into demigod worship. Then what are we into? Okay, so we are into Krishna's worship. Fine. So Krishna, what should we worship? Should we worship? So many Krishna forms are there. Rama is there, Narasimha is there, but all of them are personal forms. We also have the Paramatma form. And more than that, we have, Krishna is not a person, energy form, Brahma Jyoti form. Which form should I worship, right? This will become a confusion. So some of them say, no, everything is equal, cannot be equal, right? So can you tell that the energy is same as the energetic? So I'm just going, and Subhadra Mataji is going on, switching on the light. She brought light. So can I say that light and Subhadra Mataji is same? Can we all say, okay, Subhadra switched on the light, so Subhadra Mataji and the tube light is same because she brought in the energy? Can we say that? Will Subhadra like it?
No.
No, Mataji.
Who's more superior? Who's more superior? The light or the one who switched on the light?
Light.
Light.
Is the light powerful or the person who is behind the light powerful?
Who's behind the light?
Behind the light is
Behind
powerful
the
because
light.
he's
Yeah.
the instrument, right, of the light coming. She made the light or she switched on the switch. So the light will look powerful for you. You're taking from the electricity point of view, but I'm talking from the potency point of view, right? So Subhadra is, so if the bulb breaks, you won't feel bad, right? If the bulb fuses, you won't feel bad. But if Subhadra switches her video and if she's dull or if she's crying, what will you tell? Mataji, what happened? But will anyone come and tell, oh, what happened? Bulb broke in your house? Oh, I'm so sorry. Would you tell like that? Would anyone pass condolences or sympathize for a bulb which is breaking?
No, Mataji.
Right. So we are all interested in the personal relationship, right? So very clearly here, Krishna is going to talk about Bhakti over impersonalism, and 8 to 12 is the progressive stages of devotional service from the highest to the lowest, right? So that we are going to see. And we see half of it, and at the end is 12.13 to 20 qualities that Endear 1 to Krishna. So earlier, initially, I used to think there is only one stage. Trust means 100%, right? So if I tell, Charulata Mataji, I trust you 99%, she will tell, wow, thank you, Mataji, she will not tell them. First thing which will tell her, Mataji, why not 100%, right? So I always used to think, and we also feel, right? I want 100% trust, but I will give Krishna maybe 50%, 70%. I trust Krishna 100%, but still have little doubt, right? So this is how we are. So I used to think, okay, then either we believe or we don't believe, but it's not like that. It's various stages, right? So Krishna tells, okay, you be like this. Okay, if you can't be like that, then I give you plan B. If you can't do that also, I'll give you plan C. Always we have plans, right? Plan A and plan B. Every one of us will have. Prabhu will have a plan that, okay, my vehicle, I'm going to start today. If my vehicle is not starting, what is my plan B? I take a rig or I take a bus or whatever. There is a plan B. Or do you tell that, no, my vehicle didn't stop, I forget it. My vehicle is going to take 1 week for repair. So I will not go to office for 1 week. Or I will not drop my child for 1 week. Do Prabhu say this? Or they have a plan B?
Always multiple plans. Yeah.
Exactly. Most of the time, we will have plan B or plan C, right? We won't call it multiple. I would say normally a plan B will be there, even in great organization. Military, they have a plan A or a plan B. Very rarely they have a plan C. So let's start our journey in 12.1. And beyond that, 13, we saw that something which takes us close to Krishna, because that's a purpose, right? So I wanted you all to message me in chat whether we saw the opulence video or not. So you can just type while I'll share that later. We'll start this. Whoever wants to read can raise your hand or unmute and read. Hare Krishna. Yes, Kartika, after I chant, you can read. Vacha evam satata yuktanaye bhaktastvam paryupasate ekapyaksharam avyaktam yoga vistamaha.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be more perfect, those who are properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
So very clearly, direct question. Everything starts from the direct question. So you have not seen the opulence video. I'll show it at the end. Mataji, after the Prabhupada's video, please stop recording because I'll share this opulence video. Hare Krishna. So which is considered to be more perfect? One who is engaged in devotional service or the one who worships the impersonal Brahman, right? So he is clearly asking, what should I pray? So see, this is the beautiful feature. And look at my visuals. It's a light. What would you like to see? Right? So we need some focus. Maybe light to start with, we'll have a focus, but to meditate on, to relish. Kadayanticha, Ramanticha. How much kada can we talk? Now we are spending 1 hour in the morning about Krishna. So if I'm going to tell about power, right? Oh, this is a beautiful light. The color of the light is yellow. I have multicolor. I have 4, 5. How long will you hear, right? First 2 minutes you'll hear, 3 minutes you'll hear, and finally we'll all get bored. So that's how Krishna is going to explain. Let's see. So he asks, and there are 2 classes of transcendentalists. So very clearly, the 2 classes are, one is the personalist who worship the impersonal form, impersonalists who engage in the impersonal features of Krishna. That is the conclusion of every chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Living entity is a spiritual spark. Each one of you can read one point. Now, second point you read. One of you.
Living entity is spiritual spark. Absolute truth is spiritual whole.
So absolute, right? Absolute means it is independent, right? So living entity is a spiritual spark. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmaneva anupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tadona vichugupshate. Very clearly, sarva bhuta, everything are nothing but part and parcels. We are spiritual spark. Is very clearly said in the 9th mantra of Isho. That's in the 7th mantra of Isho Upanishad. Right? 6th and 7th mantra talks about spiritual sparks, and they will have absolutely no fear. And absolute truth is spoken in the 12th, 13th, 14th mantra, where the abode also is very spiritual. And even in the 10th chapter, Arjuna is saying, right, Paramam Dhamma. It's such a spiritual abode. 6th one, this one, the second point.
6.47 says, Bhakti Yoga is the best of all yogis.
Hare Krishna. So we know very clearly that is the best, right? So whatever happens, that stays exclusive. 7th. In the 7th
entity is part and parcel of the whole, recommends one to transfer his full attention.
Exactly. So 7th chapter tells that we are part and parcels of Krishna, right? And therefore we have to transfer complete attention. So that is also mentioned here. In the 8th chapter.
Anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of death at once goes to the spiritual sky, to the abode of Krishna. Abode of Krishna.
I know it's gone down. Abode of Krishna, abode of the spiritual sky. Yeah. So what are we talking about? All the Bhagavad Gita chapters, 2, 6, 7, 8, and also 9. Everything talks about Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is not just discussed here. If you see the entire 18th chapter, it talks only Bhakti. Many indirectly, many directly, and most of the time it is directly, right? So 8th chapter also we saw at the time, Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam. That is when you're dying, if you think, whatever you think, you will become that. And the first chapter he says is, whatever you think, you will achieve. And second is, at the time of death, what you think, you will get, right? Therefore, right, he says, therefore, what should you say? You should think of me every moment. Anushwaran Nityacha. Maya Arpita Mano Biddhir, right? Mind, everything you will give it to me. Mame Vaishyasya Asamshaya. So complete devotion you will have for me is what he concludes, right? Therefore, so he's concluding. So he is very clearly telling a conclusion that Bhakti Yoga is the best. So very clearly, Tesham Satata Yuktana, that means everything you will be focusing only on me, right? So very clearly it is highlighted in various chapters. But again, this since we will again get confused, we saw opulence, we saw Vishwarupa, and we are a little confused. So Krishna is again clarifying, not just for Arjuna, because Arjuna is always with him in the two-handed form, but it's for Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Vesha Mano Yema Nitya Yukta Upasate Shaddaya Parayo Peta Tame Yukta Tamamata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The blessed Lord said, he whose mind is fixed on my personal form, always engage in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith, is considered by me to be the most perfect.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly he's telling, right, the one whose mind is fixed on the personal form. So personal form is the two-handed form, and engaged in worshipping me all the time is considered to be the most perfect, right? So he's given direct, no indirect at all, right? People will get confused. So he's clearly telling, so there is no scope of confusion at all. That is beauty of Bhagavad Gita. There is no indirect answers, right? So text 2, Lord Krishna's opinion, those engaged in devotional service are more perfect. So always engage me, Satata Yuktanam, right? Why most perfect? Fixes mind on my personal form. My Arpita Mano Buddhir, right? Everything is fixed on that. Worship me with great and transcendental faith. right? So that is what decides whether you're a neophyte or a guru. What differentiates? It's their faith, Shraddha. Right? Action in Krishna conscious are not material because everything is done for Krishna. You're making boha, it's material, but then it is for Krishna, so it becomes spiritualized, right? Even the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, why is it so powerful? Because it's from you, your matter, you're vibrating through sound. That is also matter. The person who's hearing also is matter, but the name is spiritual. So even though it is coming from from the material world, from a materialistic person, from a materialistic sense object, it is no more material. It is transcendental, and that is why it's power. It's working. I give you a crocin, okay, whether you mix in milk also it will work, whether you swallow also it will work, whether you are not aware and you take also, whether you look at it and say, I don't believe you, crocin, I don't like you, still it will work, right? So like that, Krishna consciousness, the mantra will do its duty because it is so pure. A pure devotee is in full samadhi because of his constant engagement. He cooks, hears, everything he does, right? So he does not waste a single moment. Hare Krishna. 12.3 and 4.
But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, they all pervading, inconceivable, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone. Such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me.
Hare Krishna, so beautifully he is saying, right? Someone who is fully worshipping the unmanifested, right? Manifested is what you can see. Unmanifested is the Brahma Jyoti, what you can't see, right? So such a person, don't worry, they will also reach me, right? Because they will also come eventually to me. At last they achieve me, right? They'll also reach me, but it will come at last. So those who worship have these characteristics. Yes, Mataji, you can read the characteristics on the left.
Yes. Those who worship unmanifested will also reach Krishna eventually and surrender. Characteristics of impersonal conception of the absolute truth, unmanifested, beyond sense perception, all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, immovable.
So impersonal conception has all this, right? It is, we can't understand because you need something, right? I just asked you all, even though you're great in maths, I told you, please give me the quantity. Until now, I have not got a quantity because you don't know, right? Because you can't perceive what is the quantity and you can't calculate and give. And it's fixed, it's not moving. But for us, we need a relationship, right? How to worship the unmanifested. It's very difficult by controlling the various senses. How can I control the various senses? I close my eye. We'll all come, okay? We will all sit here. 5 minutes I'm telling. I'm not going to tell Mangalacharan. I'm just going to tell, think of Mangalacharan, the 3 minutes. Just think. Okay, no, don't think that also. Just keep your mind blank. Can you do? But when I'm telling Mangalacharan, some of you all know, you all chant behind the mic. Some of you don't know, listen, right? Because you need constant engagement. Engaging in the welfare of all, difficulty for a common man, much penance is involved before the ultimate realization. Because for us, we have so much of anarthas. We need a lot of purification before we reach the final stage. Hare Krishna. Kesho adhikatarastesham avyakta shakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadbir avapyati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Hare Krishna.
Very clear. If you're on the unmanifested Brahma Jyoti, it is very troublesome. Just like us, right? Last 1 week, sorry, 8 days, I've been asking you, give me the measurement. But it's very difficult, right? It's not that you don't want to do. You have the interest to do. Some of you all even, I'm so happy to see that you all took the pen and pencil to note down. But you all went bonkers, right? Because we don't know. So therefore, the same thing, they just won't have clarity. They'll just lose the thing. So therefore, path of impersonalism is troublesome. And we saw 2 types of people, Bhakti yogis, those who are in full Krishna conscious, and Jnana yogis, whose path is inconceivable, unmanifested, and it is so difficult. So in terms of practice, what happens? Meditation is on formless, is so difficult, but it's so easy to meditate on Krishna. And for unmanifested, it's beyond the senses. First, they have to restrict the senses and then only come. So for them, the qualification itself is, they should not eat, They should not think of anything, and they should not even, they don't even have food independently. They will mix everything so they don't taste the food. Whereas here, their job itself is a purification. They keep doing chanting and all that. So if I ask all of us, you can chant provided you have full concentration. How many of us will be able to chant in this school? I won't be able. How many of you all will chant if I tell you all? I want you all to pick up the beats only if you can focus 100%. At least one of you confident. Not even one. See?
I don't think so, Mataji.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Exactly. So for me, I would say it's impossible because at least in between somewhere I will go and come back, right? So it's the quickest flight. So therefore, we should understand Brahman through the Upanishads. For them, they have to understand and then only they go. So for us, Krishna is through devotional service. But for the other yogi, he will, jnanis, they will think of learning. For them, learning. So we saw in the 15th chapter, right? Vedeshu Sarvesu, right? Everything is ultimately Krishna. If we are not, the ultimate objective is not Krishna, then there's no purpose of reading Veda at all. Right? And the long practice, so it's so difficult, it's so troublesome. Just imagine going all alone. Vishwamitra also went all alone. What happened? He got influence. Bharat Maharaj is very elevated, he's in Baba stage. Even for Bharat Maharaj, had he had someone with him, they would have told me, stop here. Stop, looking at the deer, focus on Bhakti. Right? Unfortunately, because of that, he landed up on a deer. So again, on the Bhagwan feature, Nirguna means it has no quality. Bhagwan has Saguna, that means he is with form. Even if you say Nirguna for Bhagwan, it means Nir-material quality. He is inconceivable and, he can be conceived, right? We'll be able to do. He is all-pervading. He is also all-pervading by energy, but also you can feel him as a Paramatma. He's unchanging, he's fixed and immovable. It's the same thing for both. Cannot perceive, but Krishna can be perceived in 6 opulences. Right? What are the 6 opulences which you can perceive Krishna?
Knowledge,
Knowledge, only knowledge, Prabhu. What are the 6 opulences? Chapter 2nd.
It's
all knowledge.
Aishwarya.
Aishwarya.
All wealth, yeah.
braveness, that is Dhairyam.
Famous, strongest.
Yeah,
Beauty.
strength, all strength. All beauty.
Knowledgeable.
Strength.
Beauty.
Renunciation.
Yeah.
All renunciation. Thank you so much. Right? So it is all fame, all beauty, all wealth, all knowledge, all strength, and all renunciation. Right? That's the 6 opulence of Krishna. And we notice that, right? If you see a very good-looking Mataji or very good-looking Prabhu, you naturally want to see. Prabhupada told, when he was in a morning walk, there was a very, very beautiful Mataji who was walking. Right? And the devotees by his side were like, not obviously, everybody sees. And, Prabhupada is there. So they like sort of remove their eyes from there. And Prabhupada immediately say, hey, that Mataji is very beautiful, right? Right? And they were like, what to tell? Yes, Prabhuji. And he says, Krishna has given that beauty. Can you see? Krishna has given. So that is the power. Even in the movie, in a hero, tell me, if I tell you which hero you like, most of the time the hero will have many of these opulences. And even if he doesn't have, they will bring it. Example, voice is not good, they will bring the voice, right? They'll do dubbing. The face is not very beautiful, they will do a little makeup to make the person look beautiful, all beautiful. Where is all this coming? It's all coming from Krishna, right? And risk of not realizing the absolute, therefore they have a risk of falling down. They won't reach the Krishna. The risk. Whereas here we know Papa Punya Krita Lokan Suchitva Shashvata Samaha. Right? We saw that Suchiman Srimatam Dege Loko Brishto Abhijayate. So what it is, right? So even if you fail, right, you become a Suchiman or Srimatam, born in a transcendental family or in a rich family, and therefore success is guaranteed. In the first one, you only have the Sat and the Chit there. Right? Here you have complete happiness, bliss is there, which is why people who do devotion are happy, and which is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Why? Because he wants to know, oh my God, I am happy when my devotees are serving me, but my devotees are more happier than me. What is the speciality? I need to know the Bhava, and that Bhava of all Radharani is the highest. So he wanted to come in that Bhava. That is why Krishna descends as Chaitanya, but with the mood of a devotee. So 12.6 and 7, Hare Krishna. Okay, now this one, Yatu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dayayanta upashate tesham aham samutarta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na charirat partha maye veshita chetasam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. For one who worships me, giving up all his activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, who has fixed his mind upon me, O son of Pratha, for him I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death.
So he's very clearly telling, right? He's now giving a module as to how you can swiftly get delivered. So he's telling somebody constantly worships me, right? Satatam, always things, and someone who gives up all the activities, right? He forgets about it and devoted to me without any deviation, right? Engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me. Son of Partha, I'm swift deliverer, right? So he will personally come and lift. So he's telling that. And now we will see the progressive ladder. So now he is told this, always think, don't do anything, just think of me 24 hours. That doesn't mean don't do means you go forget all the work and sit. No, when you're doing everything, like Arjuna also, you see, leads by an example. He fought, right? But what did he do? He didn't just say, okay, I'm going to lead by an example, I'm going to fight. No, he did show the various qualities, but he was thinking of Krishna always. So he did as a nimitta matram, as an instrument. So we will also have to do that. But we all know, no, Are, it's not possible yet. 24/7, how I can think of Krishna? Yeah, thinking for 2 minutes itself is so difficult for us. So let's see what Krishna is telling for section B. Progressive stages from highest to lower. Eighth one is living within Krishna by continuously fixing one's mind and intelligence upon him. This is one more. Ninth one is practicing the regulatory principles of Bhakti Yoga to increase one's desire and ability to remember and obtain Krishna. And so basically by practicing regulatory, I'm not getting Bhakti, okay, I'll just follow it as a duty, right? Regulatory principles. There are 64 regulatory principles, we'll see that. And 10th one is surrendering one's work to Krishna, surrender to Krishna. And 11th one, surrender to Krishna the results. I can't surrender to Krishna, so let's see the result, at least how we can surrender. So we'll see each one of them. The first one is Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti is unalloyed devotion, like that of the Gopas. They will be with Krishna, they'll be playing with Krishna, they're all with Yogamaya, and they forget the fact that Krishna is God and they play. After going home, they will go ahead and talk about Krishna. And some of these Gopas come home very early. They come at 2 o'clock in the morning and they knock the door, and Yashoda Maya say, what do you want? It's day has come, we have to go. She'll say 2 in the, it's morning, it's early morning. My Kanaya is just sleeping. Please go, you all also sleep and then come back tomorrow morning. So they are constantly waiting, right? They are constantly in unalloyed bhakti. See, normally everybody, we love children, but we will love our children more than others' children. Yes or no?
Yes.
Is there a disconnect?
Yes, Mataji.
Children more than other children. Is that at least right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah. So that is how it is. But when Krishna was there, everyone liked Krishna more. Why? Because this love is not just that Janma. It's been there for Yuga Yuga. Yuga Yuga, every Yuga Yuga, year after Yuga Yuga, they are constantly associated. That is why when it came to Krishna, they were deeply in love with Krishna. Maye Mana Adarsya, Mayi Buddhim Niveshaya, Nivashishyasi Mayeva, Ata Urdvam Na Samshaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please.
Just fix your mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt.
He's just telling that, you live in me always if you just have to fix your mind. Then, we are telling Krishna, little concession, very difficult. How can I think of you all the time? Very, very difficult. Although I know opulences, we did that last class, right? I have so many opulences of yours, but I could not remember you all the time. Out of the 82 opulence, only one opulence I could remember, or 2 opulence max. So this is just not my cup of coffee or tea, whatever you call it. So perform devotional service for pure devotees, topmost like Yashoda, they can do that, right? Engage all your intelligence in me, and you will always be in me without a doubt. That's easy for them, but for us it's impossible. How can we do? Oh my God. Okay, fine, you don't do. Let's do at least sadhana bhakti. Hare Krishna. Atha chittam samadhatum noshi mai stiram Abhyasayogena tato ma ichaptum dhananjaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulated principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, you will develop a desire to attain to me.
So nectar of devotion gives Bhakti Yoga 64 regulatory principles. But of course, that's very difficult. So we will follow the 4 regulatory principles. What are the 4 regulatory principles?
Shravanam, Kirtanam.
4 regulatory principles. Those are the process of devotion.
No meat eating,
No
no
gambling, no
drinking,
intoxication.
no gambling,
No
no
intoxication.
Why no meat eating, Mataji?
Because Krishna won't like it.
Huh?
Ahimsa. We cannot do ahimsa.
But why is Krishna talking about ahimsa? He went and told Bhagavad Gita anywhere is ahimsa, yuddha, man, right? So many times he tells yuddha. There is
Krishna,
no yuddha.
Krishna is telling 9.26 Patram, that sloga, Mataji. Only leave
Very
from
nice.
like
Thank you so much.
Toyam.
Patram pushpam
Palam
padantopa.
patra pushpam toyam.
But he's telling for himself, nah? He's giving his menu. But why should we not eat?
Because our system is not designed for eating
That's
the.
scientific. That is scientific. But why are we telling follow? That's also a very valid point, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Scientifically. And even spiritually, what happens is our heart becomes very rude, right? If you're into eating non-veg, it means you're killing, right? The one is Prabhu told is perfect. Your body also doesn't suit. Even your mind doesn't suit. You eat non-veg, you do some of the cruel things, right? Trying to attack an animal or
It makes the body more tamas.
yeah, tamas. It brings you, it lowers your thought towards it, right? So that is one. Second thing is no intoxication. Why not? And there was a great devotee in the hippie crowd who told Prabhupada, I am getting Krishna whenever I take drugs. Very nice, no? We are not getting Krishna most of the time. We can all take drugs and think of Krishna. We can get intoxicated, alcohol. Yes or no? Everybody's thinking. Should we take?
माताजी आपका वॉइस ब्रेक हो रहा है माताजी
हाँ
आपका वॉइस ब्रेक हो रहे हैं that is why we are not able to get your question clearly.
Oh, voice is breaking. Okay. So basically, one devotee, one hippie told him, whenever I take LSD, which is drug, right? I am thinking, I'm getting the thought of Krishna so easy for me. So for us, we are finding it difficult to get the thought of Krishna. So can we all take drugs?
No, Mataji, not clear.
Yes or no? Can you hear?
No.
No, Mataji.
No, Mataji, we are not here.
Voice is not clear.
Yeah, it is very, very, yeah. It's
No,
very
my question is not clear or my voice is not clear.
Voice
Voice
is not
clear.
clear.
It's
Not
coming
clear.
through.
Voice was breaking, Mataji. Little
Oh,
bit.
breaking. Okay, 1 second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Clear now?
And now it's clear, Mataji.
Thank you so much. See, power of Krishna.
Oh, now it's again. Now it's gone again.
Then you say
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, it is clear, Mataji.
Anyway,
Something wrong.
Hare. Oh, gone again. Okay. Okay, now I'll talk. So now what is happening is, there was a devotee who said that I take drinks or alcohol. Whenever I take drinks, I get very exalted. Does it work? So should we take drinks? Yes or no?
No.
No,
I think
Mataji.
again I'm losing. So
No,
right?
Mataji. No.
No, right? Thank you so much. Okay. So we should not, right? So that's what Prabhupada told. When you take drinks and drugs and get Krishna, that's called Bodha, right? So that is why we avoid coffee and tea, because it has caffeine and you have the tendency to get addicted. So that is why we should stay away from that coffee, tea, and regulatory principle. In that way, you will focus your mind. Completely you fix without any kind of deviation. And in that way, you will be able to achieve Krishna. So that is what you follow. So that's called, if you can't perform devotional service, then follow regulatory principles of Bhakti. Why? Not only that, we also follow what is called the Panchayat Vidhi, which is given, that the 5 vidhis which are given by Narada. So what is this? Like, getting up, deity worship. How do we worship? The process. So that is Pancharatrika Vidhi. And why is Pancharatrika Vidhi given? So that we will follow this. So as we follow these Vidhis, sadhana bhakti, sometimes people chant. We say, right, I don't have taste, right? I don't have taste. I don't have bhakti. I don't feel like praying. So what should I do it? In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so exalted, he is chanting, right? We saw that last week, Hare Krishna. Nam namakari bahudani jasharva shakti tatra pritani amriteshmarani nakala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi turdeva trisham ihajanunanuraga. Means what? So many names, your names are so potent, right? Any name you tell, Govinda, Gopala, so many names, right? You have so many Shakti, Sarva Shakti it has. But I don't have the taste. Chaitanya is telling, I don't have the taste. Okay, please give me the taste. I'm not having. Same thing. In spite of that, you do. Because when you don't want to chant, also you do. Sometimes we are tired, we are sick, or we are in a really bad mood. But still we chant. Why? Because sadhana will lead us to bhakti. That is what we are doing. So those who have not developed attachment for Krishna, how to achieve love is by practicing. You are a practitioner. You'll tell, how, Mataji? Of course. I always take this example of Bruce Lee. Was Bruce Lee a born fighter? You may tell he is genetically strong, but can you say Bruce Lee was a born fighter? We use it as an expression. But was it that when he was born, like Karna, he had Kavasha Kundala, did Bruce Lee have his nunjak and all when he was born?
No.
No, Mataji.
So Bruce Lee used to practice. So it is like, he used to practice fighting, and, he used to be very exhausted and he'll fall. And his master used to tell him, okay, we'll wind today. I think you're done for the day. He'll say, 1 second, we will start today. He'll tell, no, you're very exhausted. He says, no, all my fellow people are tired. They've fallen off, right? This is a stage where I'm equal to all. So there's nothing. It's like draw, right? You're also tired. I'm also tired. But the fact is, from here, whatever I do is my people. So from here, if I have an edge. So if I'm going to, now here, he's talking external, but here we talk about ourselves, right? Our competition is us. So if I am able to just be what I'm all the time, then I'm nowhere better, right? So I have to beat myself and go higher. Then only I'll be able to achieve that. So practice is important. So what was he doing? Constant practice. So in any field, cooking, all Matajis, the first day when you did, payasam, was the payasam perfect? Sugar was perfect? Consistency was perfect? Was it so good? Or sabji on the first day?
No, Mataji.
And all Prabhus who drive bike, the first day itself, you accelerated, went in 100 and perfect. You didn't slip, you didn't jerk. You knew how to drive, whether it's a car or a bike or a cycle.
No.
Same. There is no one who can learn a cycle without falling, and there is no one who can swim without, swallowing the water. It's scientifically, spiritually, mathematically, whichever language you say, it's proved. Same way, no one can follow devotion unless, we are not in the Paramatma stage. We are all practicing devotees. We are neophytes. Therefore, we need to keep practicing. So no matter what it is, we practice. How to follow regulation of devotional service? By the guidance of Guru. We need to do this, right? So we need to have, you all know teaching, right? All of you know ABCD till Z. Anyone does not know ABCD till Z in this? All of you know. Okay. So that means in LKG, they, right? All of you knew ABCD even 5 years back. So when you had a child, why did you send the child to school? You could have taught that ABCD. It is not something which you have not learned.
To have a professional guru.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So professional training, right? You need a guru, even for that A, right? Even though you know it. We also need that disciplined approach, right? Going to school, sitting, that is important. Same way, we also, for even Bhakti, we need that disciplined approach. And qualification to practice. Just mute. Anybody can practice. There is absolutely nothing required. And success is guaranteed, right? We have seen that there is absolutely success. There is absolutely no way, and there is assurity which is given by Krishna. We all know, no, Krishna, I know you're telling me to think of you all the time, not at all possible. How can you think? And now you've gone to the next sloka, you're telling me, sadhana bhakti, but Prabhu, sadhana bhakti, you have no idea. I don't have time. For me, all the time, I cannot keep doing sadhana. Maybe, you know, some rounds I can do, but it's very difficult for me. You should understand, right? Be considerate. Krishna is telling, no problem. I'll be very considerate. So I'll give you an option. You have work? Okay, fine. So I will tell you what work you can do. Hare Krishna. And that is Nesh Kama Karma Yoga. Nesh means no. Kama means without lust. So without attachment, you work, like for me. So this is not the end, this is the beginning. So I chant and you can read Hare Krishna. Abhyashe apisa samurtoshi mat karma paramo bhava madartam api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage.
Yes, he's telling that if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, no problem. Just try to come work for me, right? Do some seva for me. Because by working for me, you will come to that perfection stage. Do something. Okay, we'll all go to the temple and we'll all sit in the temple and do all the work of the temple. Can we do, right? Not difficult, but for us, we even to do it once a year is very difficult for us, right? So difficult. Nishkama Koma Yuka, my God, thinking and doing for Krishna all the time. It's not possible. How can you even think Krishna, you know, because, you know, I know you are talking about cleaning the temple, but it's very difficult. Krishna is telling, no, you don't have to clean. Can you do preaching? Krishna, you know, for 1 hour preaching itself, I get very tired. And for me, forget teaching my children itself is a headache for me. Where can I come and teach? Oh my God. Okay, no problem. Why don't you do one thing? Why don't you decorate the altar? I don't mind, Krishna. I have to decorate you, because looking at the mirror, no, I get that zeal. But looking at you, no, I feel that 2 flowers are there. One I can give you, one I can take. You know, my position is very difficult, Krishna. So you should understand, no, Krishna. See, I'm very understanding. I understand you're God. But you should also be understanding I'm human. Yes or no? Isn't this, we don't talk exactly like this, but somewhere, some part of our mind talks this way to us. Yes or no? So Kartika is so sweet. So please mark the attendance. Kartika is telling, anyone else want to read the verses? Yes, please go ahead. So this is from the next verse, right? Yes or no? So this is so difficult. We are stuck at Nishkama Karma Yoga, and we will see till here and we'll stop performing devotional service. If you can't do, then follow regulatory principles. That also I do work for Krishna, right? I will work for Krishna. Oh, I thought so. So I'll stop with this and I'll play the audio. Therefore, perform devotional service. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Here, perform devotional service, then follow the 4 regulatory principles.
When you're talking with
Sunita, can you read? Sunita Mataji, can you read? Can you read this?
Yeah. Perform devotional service. Follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. Work
If you
for
can't
Krishna.
follow, if not,
if one cannot, then work for me. Okay. Perform devotional service. If one cannot, follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. If one cannot, then work for Krishna. How to perform work for Krishna? Sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna conscious movement. Every endeavor needs land, capital, organization, labor, like in any other business. Can help build a temple, help in publication, etc. If one cannot sacrifice results of his activities, at least sacrifice some percentage of his results.
So that is, we saw Nishkama Karma Yoga. This is Sakama Karma Yoga, right? He is bringing that up. So we will see this. And is my voice clear?
Now it's better.
Clear now.
Mataji, today your voice is not so clear. It is sometimes breaking.
Okay. Ate tad api asok dosi kartumatyogam ashrita sarva karma palatyaga tata kuru yathatmava. Hare Krishna.
If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness, then try to act giving up all the results of your work and try to be self-situated. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Nand Maharaj, you know, birthday today is different, right? Those days, birthdays are not for taking, it's for giving. So can anyone tell this, what does this picture indicate? This picture.
During cradle ceremony of Krishna.
Absolutely. Janmashtami of Krishna. Yes. Nand Maharaj is calling a very apt Brahmanas and gifting cows. He's gifting 1 lakh cows on his birthday, and he does that every year. And these cows are not just cows. They are very well fed and very highly jeweled. They have jewel of silver, gold and all that, and they give. So they keep continuously doing this dana. Right? That is how birthdays were celebrated, and they used to come eat and bless. So even if you can't hand over everything, do that sakama a little bit, you try and do whatever is there for Krishna. So palam taga, the benefits of fruit of the activity when you give, it's called, if you can't work for Krishna, okay, do your work, but please give the fruits to Krishna. So this is what, right? And this is what we saw. And so this one we saw, and we'll continue this, right? So work. If you can't do the results, you do that. So give up the results of Krishna. So what is he see? Reasons why one may be unable to sympathize for Krishna conscious act can be whatever. It can be social, family, your mindset. All this can be there. You may not be able to work. Your in-laws won't agree. Your spouse may not agree. So you can't give up. But what you can do, you can always give the results, right? Sacrifice whatever results for the good cause. How that helps? Because that will gradually elevate you, either by knowledge or Krishna conscious gives you space to achieve that. Practical examples is even social service, community service, national service are good. You should never stop charity. Why? By doing the pious activity, one is you go to Swarga, that is upon in the mode of goodness. So it purifies your mind, and automatically, slowly it elevates to Krishna consciousness. When you see someone who's doing charity and he says, I don't believe in Krishna, I should not go until they're waste here. Whatever you're doing is useless. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initially never spoke about spirituality. He only spoke about Sanskrit scholarship and all. Why? He wanted to set the ground. Later, after initiation, he started becoming a Vaishnava devotee. So it doesn't matter. Anybody can take a U-turn. So it's important that we do it. Hare Krishna. I told you all I'm going to read the Panchatattva mantra. It's 7 o'clock. If my voice is breaking still, or can you hear me? Because if my voice is breaking, I can hold for a while and we can play Prabhupada's video, or I can tell story now. What do you suggest? Can you hear me?
Your voice is breaking, ma'am.
Then I'll hold the story. We'll play Prabhupada's video. And then if it is clearer, I'll talk. Mohandas Prabhu or Ritu Mataji, you're having the video, right?
Yes, Mataji, I have.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, you can play. Please go ahead and mark. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthday on 18. Don't miss this opportunity. Please go ahead. Today, instead of story, which if the voice repairs by itself, I will tell. Otherwise, she will play Prabhupada's video and wait. I'm going to show you the opulence video at the end. Meanwhile, if you can pause recording, Neetu, I can show the. I mean, is your video ready?
Yes, Mataji, the video is ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kanna. Yeah, play. No problem.
Because Krishna has no difference between body and self. He's simply self, spirit, soul. So, we have got now this body and self. I am self, but I possess this body. Then when actually we become dependent on Krishna, as Krishna is self-satisfied, similarly we can be also self-satisfied with Krishna. Kaivalla Patayi Namaha. The Mahabharati philosophers, they, monists, they want to become one with the Supreme. As Supreme is self-satisfied, they also want to be self-satisfied by becoming one with the Supreme. Our philosophy is also the same, Kaivalla, but we depend on Krishna. We do not become one with Krishna. That is one. If we simply agree to abide by the order of Krishna, there is no disagreement, there is oneness. These Mayavadi philosophers, they think that why shall I keep my individual separate existence? I shall become merged. That is not possible. Because we are created or not created from the very beginning. We are separated part and parcel. We are separated parts and parcel. Therefore Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, my dear Arjuna, you, me, and all these persons who have assembled in this battlefield, we were in the past individuals, we are at present individuals, and in the future we shall continue to remain as individuals. We are all individuals. Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetanana. He is the supreme Nitya, supreme living force amongst many innumerable living forces. We are Jiva, innumerable, Ananta. There is no counting how many we are. So Anantaya Kalpate. So these Ananta, innumerable living entities, and Krishna is also a living entity, but he is the chief. That is different. Nitya Nitya, just like there is a leader. Leader is one, and followers, there are many. Similarly, Krishna is the supreme living entity, and we are subordinate, dependent living entities. That is the difference. Dependent we can understand. If Krishna does not supply us food, we starve. That's a fact. We cannot produce anything. Eka jo bahunam vidudhati kama. So Krishna is maintaining, and we are being maintained. Therefore, Krishna shall be the predominator, and we shall be predominated. That is our natural constitutional position. Therefore, if we want to become predominator falsely in this material world, that is illusion. That we must give up. That we must give up. We shall always try to become predominated by Krishna. That is successful life. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Is my voice okay? Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm going to, as I told Chaitanya Charitamrita, I want to chant, right? So I'm going to do that. So just give me 1 second. I will share the screen. When I go to Chaitanya, I make it a point, I will change the visual. Let's not have the Brahmajyoti when person is there, right? Okay. We did the first 2 shlokas or 3 shlokas? Yesterday, what did we do? We did the third one, no? Hare Krishna.
Yesterday it was third one.
Third, okay. So we'll do the 4th one, which is this one. Hare Krishna. Nadanam na janam na sundari kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatat bhaktirakaitu tvai. Hare Krishna. Please read this, no?
O Almighty Lord, O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. He says, I don't want anything. I don't want wealth. I don't want women. And you'll be thinking, I don't want followers, what's so great? Yes, even in devotional service, we come across many Matajis, many teachers also who feel, who don't really accept someone, even a devotee. Even if you see senior devotees initially may like, but we are all not that pure, right? We have so much of anarthas. So sometimes when they see a junior devotee or a neophyte trying to elevate to a next level, they feel very uncomfortable. See, this is not a competition. It's not like we are in a material world, right? We are always used to this race. This is a relationship, and the race is only between you, yourself, and Krishna. That's it. So your direct mark is by Krishna, and the relationship you have is only between you and Krishna. But we have many times even very senior devotees who constantly fight for followers, power, position, right? So, so these kind of things keep happening. And, so this is so important that we don't get into this mood of, power, position. We'll be thinking, oh, all this Mataji will happen in the material world, but, will it happen in the spiritual world? So I can, we have personally experienced. So there was the story of a teacher, okay, and she was a very nice teacher, and she has so many years of practice, right? And it's a true story. She had 4 students, right? She had many students, but finally only 4 students stayed, of which 2 students were average and other 2 students were very smart, right? So of the 2 students who were average, though she appeared to be equal and she felt that she will not differentiate, but she would always make, even if she wants some classes to be taught, she would only give it to the 2 students who are average. So for a long time, these 2 were more loyal to her, very sincere. They're thinking that, okay, this teacher is very genuine. This teacher wants to promote them. But later she just noticed that, she would, completely sideline the other 2 students. And even, she would never give them any position. She won't talk about them. In the forum also, she used to talk only about, the other 2 average students. And so this one average student had a very big misunderstanding with another good student. And, they went and shared it with the Guru. And that time also she didn't, she just heard it. But then after that, what she started doing is she was constantly telling that good student, oh, this particular student whom you're talking bad is very nice. She's so good. Then that another good student started feeling very depressed. Am I lying? I'm seeking. So this is a very important take home. Sometimes some people have problem. We can hear. We don't need to go with them. But we don't have to go against them also. Array, what you're telling is wrong. The person is so good. Maybe you are not right. We can hear and slowly get them in class, right? So this is another concept. Then for a long time it happened. And one day what happened is her guru, her teacher had come. And in this entire process, there was this one student who didn't bother about anything. And she was just following her own path. She didn't bother at all about what was happening. She used to just come, do her sadhana and go back. So this guru came and told, he just picked out of the crowd, because it was a big crowd. And he just picked that one student who was just doing the sadhana. And he told, that particular student, is very nice. And I want this student. I want, to directly train the student. And I want, actually to train and mold so that she can really become good. So immediately this immediate teacher came and told, Guru, you're not, that student is not that great. That student is very average. For you to train her, she needs more skill sets. So I don't think you should take it up. And that day that student was not there. And everybody came and told her, that, your guru spoke like this, guru spoke like this, guru spoke like this. She didn't believe at all. She said, no, my guru has always been telling you, because the guru used to tell her that, I have complete faith in you. Anytime, anything I will always speak. You are the person whom I like a lot. She used to talk. And the student blindly believed every word from her guru, which is how you should be. But you should also analyze who is your guru. That's why I'm bringing this up. And then what happened one day is this was going on, and this came, she was completely in a shock. So first she didn't believe at all. She didn't believe. Finally, she went and asked the Guru, I've been hearing like this from many people. And is it so? She said, yeah, because I feel that you're not up to the mark. So her heart shattered completely, because she was thinking all the time this guru was telling that, I always wanted you. You're so good. You're so nice. And a couple of times when the guru had some challenges, when she could not take help from others also, she was always there for her. But finally, this thing came, jolted her, not because, that Guru's Guru identified her, but because of the fact that all the trust she had is, completely shattered, right? Every time she was telling, you're very nice, you're so good and all that. So she didn't understand and she never knew whom to talk. And after that, there was one exalted sannyasi who came. And she was very upset and she didn't speak, but knowing her mind, right? Because Paramatma speaks, right? The exalted sannyasi says, what is it you want, ma'am? So she said, no, Prabhu, I'm very happy. So that time he told, no, actually, I know what is bothering you. Remember one thing, the spiritual world also has a lot of, it's not spiritual world. We are all in material, right? So in material world, we will have a lot of anarthas because people who are dealing with you are also having anarthas. So they will constantly fight for power. So you always think what is it wrong in you because what you did, and you also ask the teacher, what is it wrong? That was very nice because it's important that you ask, right? Tadvidhi prati prasena prati prasnena sevaya, right? So you should ask sensible questions. It's good you clarify. But she never had an answer to give it. Why? Because the end, what we see is not just here. There are things called not the gross. There is also subtle body, right? Subtle body is made up of false ego, right? That is what we are seeing. That is there, not there in the spiritual world, but that is there even in many spiritual organizations, even in our circle. Therefore, you don't worry about anything and don't keep feeling, attachment is important for God, right? Maintain that. And Guru is important, but you have not finalized on the Guru. Right now, you are only having Shiksha Guru who's teaching, and you don't keep yourself restricted to one Shiksha Guru. You should have multiple Shiksha Guru so that, you know what is right and what is wrong. So anything spoken should not be judged, and should, at the same time, anything spoken, you should not be blaming yourself. You should not be always thinking, maybe I'm at fault, maybe I am wrong. No. It's good to be humble, but it should not be like, you're hitting yourself because you have a soul to take care, right? So why am I telling this story is to bring it up that all of you will go to level 3 and you will have new teachers coming in. Whoever is the teacher, please, first be tolerant to understand what the teacher is coming. Second thing which I want to tell is, whether it's a teacher or whether it is your fellow Bhakti Vriksha groups, don't get frustrated. Don't tell this person to like this. I don't want this group. I want to get away. I don't need this moon. Continue, because end of the day, the relationship is between you and Krishna, and it's a platform. You don't have to bother about how good she is or how bad it is, right? You have to keep moving on like a frog, right? There was one frog who was fighting and she came out and everyone said, you can't do, don't come from a well. But this particular frog came out and they said, we discouraged you so much. And how did you come? Frog said, oh my Krishna, you discouraged me. I didn't know. I thought you were constantly, telling this. So you were telling, come up. I thought you were encouraging me, and with that I came. So what is important is, it's important that we close our ears to these kind of people and keep our eyes and think, Vivasaya Atmika Buddhi, only one, Ekeka Guru Nandana, on Krishna, and focus on that and progress. Whatever it is, whether it's your small teacher or whether it's your fellow, it's your friend, your relative, will come into a lot of protest, not only in the material world, even here, because we are following spirituality in the material world. So we will come across people who are materialistic still. In the spiritual world, you will not have this problem, right? That is why Krishna is not taking us there. Can you imagine if we all go there, what will happen? We'll pollute that place, right? So I just want to tell this, and please do make it a point and take the blessings of Chaitya Guru. And since you can hear, I am going to take another 1 minute on screen sharing. Okay. Hare Krishna. I'm going to talk to you about Panchatatvas. So important. We need to have Panchatatvas. Panchatatvas are who? Panchatattva we saw are none other than the 5 very great auspicious people who have come in our lives, right? So who are they and why did they come? Let's see. And we tell this Panchatattva mantra. What is a Panchatattva mantra? Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shri Sadi Gaura Bhakta. So to start with, we all know who is our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? He is none other than Krishna. So Krishna in the devotee incarnation is this special. So that is the first step. Now we are moving now back into various characters. So Advaita Acharya, who is Advaita Acharya? Advaita Acharya is an avatar rupa of both Vishnu and Shiva. All of you know Shiva is a very exalted Vaishnava devotee, and Advaita Acharya saw a lot of miscreants here. And he prayed with Tulsi leaves. Tulsi Maharani is so powerful. That is why, Tulsi is coming here. She prayed with one Tulsi leaf, praying hoping that, oh, please come and resolve the issues of this Kali Yuga. So that is why our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in Kali Yuga, and it is on the prayers of our Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya is elderly, and he is almost treated like a father, right? And he is Advaita Acharya, the one in the white dress. Now moving on to Sri Advaita, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Who is Nityananda? Nityananda is none other than Balram, right? Krishna's first expansion is Balram. So we saw even in Goloka, Vrindavan, Krishna in his two-handed form expands into Balram, right? And that Balram expands into four more, which is Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshana, and Vasudeva. So this is this first quadruple expansion. Now from here, this Sankarshana is called Mula Sankarshana. He expands himself and gets into Narayana, into Vaikuntha. So now second quadruple expansion is going to happen. So what are they? Again, one Pradyumna, one Aniruddha, one Sankarshana, and one Vasudeva. So the second Sankarshana which you're seeing is none but, it's called Mahasankarshana, right? In the Vaikuntha planet. So we saw Goloka, we saw Vaikuntha. Now what is going to happen? This Sankarshana is going to enter our cosmic manifestation. How he's coming outside Brahmajyoti and sitting in the Karna ocean, right? Causal ocean, also called Vraja. So what is this ocean? He's called Karno Dakshai Vishnu. So also Mahavishnu. So Mahasankarshana enters as Mahavishnu, and from there he creates unlimited universes. And from the pores we have multiple Garbhodakshai Vishnus coming. As Garbhodakshai Vishnu, multiple universes, inside each universe one Garbhodakshai Vishnu enters. So multiple universes, how many are there? Like how you will have a huge bag of mustard seeds. So many universes have come. And you have Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and there many jivas are coming, many lives are coming. 84 lakh stencil species are there, right? So many species into multiple numbers are coming up. And to each species, Garbhodakshai Vishnu expands as Paramatma feature. So the Shirodakshai Vishnu is the Paramatma feature who enters the hearts of every living entity, not human being, every living entity. So now you know Balram is none other than the first expansion, right? Expansion of Krishna. So it's very, very important. And we know this side is, we are having Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, right? So this is Gadadhara, who is none other than Radha. Radharani is the Gadadhara Pandit who is coming in that form, and Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the five rasas relationship he is playing, right? Here, father relationship, here, friend relationship. He is there, here, conjugal friend, that kind of a relationship. And finally, we have Srivatsa, who's Narada, who's representing that. He's none other than, Jiva Tattva, right? He's representation of how a devotee should be. He was a devotee person. And this is the Panchatattva mantra. So imagine such strong people are your bodyguard. Can you imagine? Even in your real life, you can't appoint such great bodyguards. So these bodyguards are going to guard you from Maya Shakti and all Shakti when you're doing the Mama. Right? So which is why we need their mercy to take us to the next level of devotion. So this is Chaitanya mantra, and we say Panchatattva mantra even before our Ma mantra, shows how merciful they are and how potential they are to give us that protection to make us a devotee. They are literally coming. And this Ma mantra is not created here, not coined by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is already in Goloka Vrindavan, and he brings it with him to the Bhuloka. Right? He brings it to all, not only our earth, but he brings it to all the material planets, and he is giving this in Kali Yuga, and he is called Channavadar, and he is the Krishna as Paramatma in our heart is Chaitanya. And he actually takes care of all of us. So in your journey, do not worry about anyone. Your relationship is between you and Krishna, and you appoint a guru, and you really ensure that the guru is in our parampara system to ensure that they are so pure and they are not polluted by any means, and with that you achieve Krishna easily. Hare Krishna. I know you all have doubts. Before that, I'll tell the prayer. Vancha kalpa darubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama. All of you join. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Any doubts you have, you can ask, and after that I can show the video.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I want to know with examples, like I understand the plenary expansion of Mahavishnu, but what is the portions of plenary expansion, Mataji? Who are those?
Okay, this is a very huge chapter. So basically, I will just tell in one line. Plenary expansion is the expansion, an expansion of that expansion. That expansions of that expansion becomes plenary expansions of the expansion, and that becomes a portion.
Yes, Mataji. Like, who is the one such example? Like, you can say, like, like Garbhodaka, Shai, Vishnu are all plenary expansions. Like,
they are plenary expansions.
Portions of plenary expansion.
So you will, what I will do is one day I will, when we have time, I will give you a complete brief, because if I give you one part, it will confuse the whole thing. I will take you all to the various avatars and we will do. So a day when our session is very short, after the Chaitanya month, right? I will explain the whole, just hold this question. I will tell you fully how the avatars are formed so you will understand more. If I give you one example, it will take you in a totally different direction. So I'm just holding this question for now. I'll definitely come back with the longer time, because at least 15-20 minutes I'll need for explaining. Otherwise, the whole thing will get mixed up.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I found out
yes.
You actually mentioned the Vishwarupa is the material form, and the Krishna is actually the spiritual form. But
yes.
I mean, if you look at it's actually it feels us to like it's other way around, because Krishna has actually come into the material world, and Vishwarupa has no one in the material world has actually seen the Vishwarupa.
Exactly, Prabhu. Exactly. What you're telling is right. What is the 10th chapter? It is opulence. And the 11th chapter is the visuals of the opulence. So what will we like? We like power, because we are in material world, right? See, that is a bhava. I understand where you're coming from. What is the difference between us and pure devotees? You yourself brought it up. Pure devotees want prema. They want Krishna bhakti. Right? They want to have a relationship with Krishna, but we want to see opulence of Krishna. So this is a clear distinction, if you see, between our Sampradaya and Ramanuja Sampradaya, because he believes that you pray with awe and remembrance. For example, those who go to ISKCON, or I'll tell Puri Jagannath, the concept of worshipping Jagannath is like they'll go hug. Right? Now, I assume that you all have gone to Tirupati. Have you gone to Tirupati?
No, yes.
So when you have gone to Tirupati, you know that in Tirupati, have you ever felt you should go run and hug Venkatesh Perumal? Has it felt?
No.
Why? It's because you have to worship in a respectable form, right? Even Hanuman, he falls on the leg. He doesn't go hug. But you see the Gopas, they go hug Krishna. The Gopis hug Krishna, right? Now, Prabhu, do you have a problem in hugging Krishna, or you don't have a problem with that?
We don't have a problem.
Don't have a problem.
Yeah. So, no, why I'm bringing this up is because the way of devotion is different. Some of them have in reverence, whereas same like how you're telling, right? You see the Vishnu Rupa, Vishwarupa is different. Vishnu Rupa is 400 form. Even though Krishna is superior person, and even though Bhishma Dev knows, how did he want? He wanted at the time of death, he wanted to see the 400 form, Narayana form, right? He asked, imagine Krishna is there and he knows very well, but still he wants to see. Devotees want to have their things which they want. Nothing is right or wrong, but the Vishwarupa is not permanent form. It is displayed for us to understand that he has opulence, right? So Krishna is telling there is no temple, maybe one in Bangalore is there, but not in a big way. Have you ever seen any temple for Vishwarupa? Why it is not there? Because how will you pray? How will you relate? Even Venkatesh Perumal, you can give quantity, you can get jewelry for him. But for Vishwarupa, you can pray in any form. You can pray in pure relationship form, or you can pray with awe and remembrance, telling, wow, he is Ishvara, right? He's got all these Aishwaryas. But you cannot pray on something like a mountain, or you cannot pray on a hill. You can remember him, but you can't put a dress to Vishwarupa, right? So how can bring Vishwarupa and keep it in your house? So that is why Vishwarupa is your material form. It is not in Vaikuntha, but it is very useful for a neophyte. For a neophyte, what they believe is many of them like to see Vishwarupa because they want to see the power. Right? Now tell me, Prabhu, how will you feel? What would you want? Whom would you like to meet? Would you like to meet Modi when he is in power or after he retires from the government?
When he's in power, yeah.
Right? That is your version. So is mine. But for Modi's mother, you go ask his mother, Ma, what do you prefer? Do you prefer Modi now or would you like him more when he retires? What will his mother say? Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to her.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to her. She doesn't care because she sees love. So the point is the two-handed form. Arjuna says, no, I don't want this Vishwarupa. I'm so happy. I am very exclusive, but I don't want this Vishwarupa. I want you back in my two-handed form because he wants to, he's losing a friend. He's happy for getting a Vishwarupa, but he's losing a friend. So today what is happening to Prabhu? We don't see God at all, right? So we have not seen God. So for us, some form of God is great. And wow, that is a secondary, we have read, right? 5 primary rasas and secondary rasas are 7. Nothing wrong in that. But secondary rasas are going to be supporting the primary rasa. They cannot replace your primary rasa. You cannot have, for example, Kamsa and Shishupal. We are telling, right? What did Krishna tell? Satatam yuktanam, right? Maya arpina mano buddhir. Always, all the time think of me. There are 2 people all the time thought of Krishna more than you and me. Kamsa, 1. Second is Shishupal. Prabhu, can you say they are better than us?
No, because they thought in negative way. Yeah.
Exactly. So all the time thinking in the right way is required, right? So this is what it is. So praying. So today we want to pray Krishna and we are seeing power, so we are liking. It's not wrong, but that is more like an energy form. But we need to understand because relationship is our next level. So we need to get there. So we are doing sadhana bhakti to go to Goloka Vrindavan, not to stay in the material world. So therefore we need to pray the two-handed form or a four-handed form or whichever form, whether you want the Rama form or the Vishnu Tattvas, right? All the forms of Krishna, which is fine. Any form is fine. But if you, as we say, demigod worship is wrong, it will bring you back to material world. So is the Vishwarupa. It's okay to pray, but it will take a long time. Krishna himself is telling, right? You can come, but for you to come here will take a long time because the abode does not have. So to make you move from the Vishwarupa to 400, 200, Krishna has to give a lot of endeavor and you need to wish. Currently, we don't have the wish. And we are excited when we see the form. Therefore, we have to give it more time so that from the Vishwarupa, right now we need that primary, secondary rasa I was telling. But we cannot exist in the secondary rasa. Shishupal and Kamsa, were only having secondary rasa, ghashliness and anger. All these are secondary rasas. It won't survive. Same way Arjuna had a Sankhya, right? But what happened is the secondary rasa was wonder. It doesn't last long. It comes and goes. But you cannot permanently be in a secondary rasa. If you are in a Vishwarupa or Virat Rupa, you are permanently in that secondary rasa, wonder stuck. You cannot be there. If you really want to be wondrous, then you take the Dasha robe, which is the servant robe, and serve the Narayana form, right? The Balaji Narayana form, 400 form in Vrindavan, in Vaikunta. That is okay. But you cannot simply tell, I will take this form 24 hours and pray the form, because when you go to spiritual world, you will not see this form. So you won't believe, right? I hope I answered your question.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. If there are no other doubts, we can all tell Hare Krishna, stop the video, but don't exit. I want to show opulence. That's very important. We can, all of you, Hare Krishna one time, and then Nitu will stop the recording. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Happy Chaitanya appearance day. Today is Ekadasi fast, and if possible, please fast on Chaitanya's birthday only till moonrise, right? So that's a speciality. So let's see.
Happy birthday to you, Mataji, 18th.
Thank you. Mohandas Prabhu, why are you doing this? Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, Mataji.
Not today.
Happy
it's on
Krishna.
18th March. It's
18th.
on 18th.
Yeah. So we'll be meeting only after that, right?
So 18th March.
Advanced happy birthday wishes.
Advanced
Thank you
Krishna
so much.
Panchayat happy birthday, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Neetu, I hope you'll stop the recording. I'm waiting. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, I'm stopping. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.